So there's some Seville spinach if you've never seen it before, and you eat those leaves and they're nice and thick and succulent. And this is the first update to the Guerrilla Growing That Got Me Going video. And I wanted to say also, just after I shot that first ever video of my first Guerrilla Growing That Got Me Going, these bolted and went to flower and seed. And this is some arugula rocket, and it's looking very healthy now. When I first got it, it was like suffering from transplant shock and like really flopping down, and now you can see the leaves are really erect and they're standing up and stuff, so that's always a good sign that it's got enough water, and that a plant's got enough water and like it's loving life or whatever, you know. And it also does look darker green from when I first got it too. And you can take like a flower a day off this guy and eat a flower a day, so that's a little hit of zeaxanthin and whatever else is in this yellow pigmented flower here. And so I really wanted to show you guys one thing, which is over here. Now you can see the little beam of light right up the back there going up near that furthest bin. So I'm going to walk over here and I'll shut off the camera so it doesn't shake everywhere, but just over there where the little bit of light, if you look at that pole just above it, behind those trees just there, there's a little bit of light hitting the garden, and that's where I've got some chives that I started with. So up here where this little beam of light keeps going, see, it keeps going, and there's the chives. And now this only gets light every morning. As you can see, it only gets this much light, then the sun sort of moves behind the building, the day goes on and the sun sort of pops out there, but it doesn't ever make it back to here. So this is only getting this much sun like for a couple of hours in the morning. I don't know exactly how many hours, but it hasn't, you know, this is basically the best part of the sun it gets that you're looking at. So those chives I can harvest like, I don't know, once a week or week and a half or something, about once a week and a half, and you just got to make sure you put them in some good soil, and always compost, because they're good to grow in compost because they're light little things. And I've used thick sort of clay stuff, which is not the best, but at least it's going to be nutritious. And I mean, they are growing back a lot, they're just not spreading out as much yet. So that's the update on those. They're good because I wanted to show you that because it doesn't need much sun to grow in. The sun you're seeing now is the most it will get, and then it goes back to like shade like that. So there's the sun on it now. So it doesn't need much. Now that's the Seville spinach. Now behind here I've got some lemon verbena. Remember that from the first video? It's looking very healthy, nice and green leaves. They've gotten a lot greener. I've watered it almost every day, and that's what I recommend with a little plant start of any tree that's that small, because otherwise you would have suffered. Because this spot is starting to get sun now. So I just showed you those chives, which are just in their sun. Now this is starting to get sun here, as you can see. The sun's coming, and this actually gets sun all day. So as soon as this sun comes from behind these trees, it'll like float over there, and it'll even get the afternoon sun, and that sun will beam down to here. So this is some red lettuce and some red giant mustard greens, and I'll show you a larger plant of these mustard greens in a second, the one that you would have seen initially in the first video. So these are just some other ones that I got, and they're like a week and a half old or something. Not very old, and they would struggle if I didn't water them because there's too much sun here. So think about how much sun that you're planting in as well. I mean, obviously the soil is very important because, you know, if you think about it, where have we found life? Not any other planets yet confirmed even, and we don't know of any life in any other galaxies for sure or anything, and we're not going into aliens in theory today. You know, in the upper atmosphere, you come into the atmosphere, there's a bit of life. It's not so densely packed, but then notice as you work your way down to the soil, life becomes more and more densely packed.
So there's millions of microbes in good soil, or billions, you know, in really good soil. And so I use this rainforest soil most of the time. I do recommend fully broken down compost and rock dust and kelp meal and stuff and all that good stuff as well. But this is what I can get for free. And plus it's got the microbes in there. It's got already mycorrhizae inoculated in there because it's in from a forest. So I'm inoculating these crappy beds with this crap soil. It's like sand soil with this nice rainforest soil, which is darker and more rich with life. So let me show you what these mustard greens will grow into. But I do want to say this gets sun all day and it'll start soon, and it's like about 8 AM or 7 AM or something. So this gets too much sun, and I regret planting these vegetable annuals here, and they're too hard to take care of. Some of them will probably die if I'm not here watering them almost every day. So think about where you're planting. So here's the chocolate mint and some chives. Now this also gets full sun all day. There's the chocolate mint and the chives. And these also don't go too well in full sun. They are not the darkest green leaves. They're not so healthy looking. This one's a little bit better because it gets the shade of the pole at one point. So in my opinion, chives don't like the full sun too much. It's too hard work to take care of them. So there's the giant red mustard green, what those others will grow into. And there's that flat leaf parsley. It's going okay. It also can do with a bit more shade. This spot's not too bad. The building actually blocks the light after this morning light. The sun will move over the building and it won't get light here basically the rest of the day. Except for the afternoon, a little bit shines in through to the red mustard here. And this pineapple sage, which has never grown back its flowers yet. It did have flowers when I bought it, and it's not looking the most healthy either. I did have it over there, and it was getting too much shade, I thought. So I've moved it over here so it gets the afternoon sun a bit more. And you can see it's got like leaf variegation, discoloration, and I don't think it's the good form. I don't think it's the type of stuff that you want to be going on. It's actually got all these spots on it, so I don't know what's happening. I think that's new growth there. So I mean, it is alive and like not doing too bad, it's still growing. But yeah, so I just moved it here, so I'll have to re-update if it enjoys a lot more sun, because I haven't researched, and I like to sometimes get out and try stuff, not just read about it. So I encourage you also to just get out there and plant it too, and just figure it out wherever you are, because some people might say this needs full sun, but I'm not so sure. I'd rather have a look with my own direct experience than just read everything and see what others say. So yeah, that concludes the update basically, and I just wanted to basically make you think more about your positioning of your plants, and doing your own experimentation, and not just because I have heard about a lot of other plants, like people saying, oh yeah, it needs this, it needs that, but then the situation turns out to be different for them. So experiment. And so there's the update, and if you remember the first video, that guy's grown huge already. Already been harvesting some leaves, and that's only been now probably 3-4 weeks that they've all been here. Oh yeah, it's probably into the 4th week now that they've been here, so not too long. And I just wonder what's going to happen with this pineapple sage, if it's come down with some disease or something with those spots. I don't know. I might have to research that. And I do recommend growing the arugula in full sun if you can water it enough. That arugula over there with the yellow flowers next to the Serville spinach. Although that will also grow in shade very well, and then you won't have to look after it. So it just depends, and I encourage you to experiment. Oh, and one thing I forgot to say, do you notice that the spots are off the leaves, except for that there, and there's some older leaves anyway. But the newer ones don't have the spots, so that worked, except for that one does. So I'll have to look into that, but maybe it's a good idea to keep ripping off those leaves that have that, because these ones, oh, there's a little one, but they basically don't have it. If you saw the first video, they have a lot of those spots on there, and the lady at the nursery said that was because of like being in the shade. So they've been in full sun for a couple of weeks now, and they look to be a lot healthier. This plant looks to be a lot healthier, these leaves. Because watch the first video if you can't remember. But yeah, and so I'm just going to have a try of one of these leaves. I don't want to take a good one. So I'm going to take this one with the spot and just not eat the spotty area. So they're quite thick, and this is a type of spinach. It's called Ceylon, C-Y-L-O-N, spinach. Scientific name looks to be, oh no, Basilava. I don't know what that means. So yeah, they're quite thick and quite delicious too. Really watery and juicy. I like it. Alright, so that concludes the update.